Hello and welcome to On the Chain Live. This is Chip and Jeff. Well, Jeff is on special assignment tonight. Where do you ask? Oh no, it's a special assignment. Actually, he is doing some good in the community, working to get a really solid candidate elected here in South Florida. And so he'll be flying solo with me tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We are going to talk about XRP and Ripple. The SEC, are they are they damaging Ripple's business? Are they a thorn in the side of crypto? We're also going to talk about some other stuff, CBDCs. El Salvador is shaking things up in a very big way. You're going to see in a moment because they're rattling some cages, which can only mean one thing: they're over the target. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
And welcome back. Here we are. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight. I got to tell you, this SEC lawsuit is really starting to, I got to say that I'm really starting to enjoy it. Get the popcorn ready, start eating the popcorn, and you throw it in your mouth because the SEC continues to pretty much step in it. And before we get any further, I want you guys to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Man, only 20% of the people that watch us hit that notification bell. That's just not good enough. Well, I mean, it's not good enough for us, but also too, we've got a weird thing going on with the channel. Yes, we're the slowest growing channel on YouTube. That is true. But you know what else is weird? In the last 5 days, our subscriptions have not moved up or down. It's very weird. Is it content related? I don't know. Drop in the chat where you're from. Let us know. City and the country where you're coming in from. Like to shout you guys out, as we're going through. And I see a lot of the regulars in here already. The regular OGs, good to see you guys in here tonight. And I'm going to try to get through this without having any computer issues, although I am taking it in hopefully this weekend. I think there's some things going on my computer. I think I've sort of isolated what the potential issue might be. So we'll see if we get there. Now, I want to jump into this story right here because it's kind of interesting because it kind of goes along with what we've been talking about, well, let's say since December. But I want to look at this right here. It's a good story. It's up on Forecast. Ripple delaying the SEC lawsuit would pose an existential threat to XRP. And that's exactly right. I mean, with the potential for the damage, I mean, we already know. We've seen other cryptos. Yeah, we just had a dip in the marketplace. But we've seen a lot of other projects really kind of take off. And what have we seen with XRP? Yeah, it went up, but it's kind of stagnant, right? I think a lot of people are kind of waiting. It's had some pretty decent volume, more or less, but we've had some sort of issues with it. But let's go in here. It says, don't miss the deadline. And this story here, it says, let me see if I can get this up in here. There we go. Ripple Labs asked the U.S. District Court to deny the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's request for a 60-day extension to the discovery schedule, as they say in the UK, citing an existential threat to the company's business in the country, according to the legal filing. And you got to imagine, I mean, who wants to wait an additional 60 days for discovery, right? If they haven't found what they're looking for now, what are we waiting for, right? Certainly that's coming in some time, but we haven't exactly seen what are they looking for. We know discovery went back at least 2+ years. So I think this has, quite honestly, probably more to do with a new trial attorney coming on board. New attorney comes on board, attorneys trying to figure out what's going on, kind of thrown in the deep end, and trying to figure out what the direction is. And it doesn't seem to be going all that well. So it's going to be interesting what's going to come out of this. And overall, it says many U.S. cryptocurrency exchanges delisted or suspended XRP trading, which we're well aware of. Today, XRP is essentially illiquid in the United States, practically eliminating the possibility of the ODL transfers into or out of the U.S. Why? Well, because of this silly lawsuit. And you have liquidity has also been hampered in other jurisdictions, damaging Ripple's ability to develop and market ODL. So what they have really done they have absolutely put a crimp in their business, right? You have a lot of partners sitting on the sidelines going like, well, yeah, we're in, but we're kind of waiting. And, we met with Alex Mashinsky last Friday down at the Bitcoin 2021. One of the things he brought up was they stopped paying a yield on XRP only because their lawyers kind of said, hey, we don't want to be accused of paying on the yield side of it. Yeah, okay, you put your own XRP in, but on the yield side, we do not want to be penalized, or we don't want to put our business at risk, because then somebody says, well, you potentially could have been giving that out as a security, right? Which would have upended their business. So they are introducing something, I believe in July, is what Alex said, that they're going to allow you to put your XRP back on yield, but you won't be able to earn more XRP. You'll have to select another token. And I think that's a pretty good idea and a pretty fair trade-off, given what we've got going on with this potential lawsuit. The extension of the discovery schedule in the case would cause tremendous prejudice to Ripple. I think it already has. I mean, I think that even when this goes down and ends, I think it has already prejudiced Ripple. In addition, the SEC has not met its burden of showing that there's good cause to extend the schedule, which is very true. Like, hey, guys, it took you 2.5 years and you still haven't been able to get it going. And then the examples of the ongoing discovery issues that it cites are largely attributable to its own unexplained delays in serving document requests. Now, this can't be understated, because here they are, in one sense, asking the court to extend while they have ignored 2 times already to be able to turn over documents, right? Related to conversations about Bitcoin or Ethereum. They already have a court order. Ripple's already had to file some additional paperwork. But come on, what's going to happen? 2 times. So they want the court to do something, yet they're not doing something themselves, which is amazing, right? Earlier, the SEC, which filed the lawsuit against Ripple and its 2 top execs in 2020, asked for a 60-day extension. Starting to sound like a theme to this for the deadline to discovery. Then you had separately, the SEC rebutted Ripple's assertion that the SEC did not provide fair notice that the XRP would be considered a security. The SEC argued that both Ripple and the public were already put on notice, given the agency's more than 70 enforcement actions against other crypto companies prior to suing Ripple. But Ripple's asked the court to dismiss the SEC's use of the data, saying that the SEC's past enforcement actions either did not involve digital assets, companies, or related to ICOs, initial coin offerings. And this is so funny. It's like they're perfectly fine with mixing apples and oranges when it suits them, right? As long as it suits them, you'd be like, yeah, well, we kind of gave fair notice because, well, there was kind of a tech company, a fintech company. And, kind of like an initial coin offerings, kind of like that. It almost makes you seem that 1 or 2 things is possible. Either they are completely inept or they are completely inept. One of the two. I think they're lost in this whole thing. And I think this is one of the problems that they're having right now. In a letter to Judge Annalisa Torres, the SEC disagreed with Ripple, writing, Howie and the Progony's flexible rather than static principle would be nullified by a ruling that a fair notice defense can defeat any claim involving an investment product that is not identical to one previously deemed a security. The court should reject the invitation to issue such ruling. And you know what that is? That's a lot of legalese that says nothing. Absolutely nothing. We don't like it. Wow. That's pretty much what it says right there. So, yeah. Want to jump into the comments. Good day. Good day, mate. Good day, Chipster, mate. Steve Willits from Down Under. What's going on, man? Good to see you. We have George in here. What's up, XRP? Come on, let's go. I'm tired of being poor. Yeah, man. And my life savings on the line. Wow, you really are all in. That's incredible. What's going on? Dollar for XRP. How are you doing, man? Good to see you here tonight. Word salad. Exactly, Ani. That's exactly what it is. Word salad. But, word salad even sounds nice, doesn't it? It's like, it's a word salad. How about gobbledygook? How about just a mess? How about just a disaster of a clown show? That's what we're kind of looking at here. That's what I see when I look at these guys. I mean, it's been complete bedlam. I mean, quite honestly. And let's see what else stories we have here. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. I don't like this story. No. I love when I pull up a story and it's fine, and then it tells me I have to log in to see that. Then they put the paywall up. Like, oh, well, let's read it once. Oh no, you've already read this story, Chip. You can't read it again because this is it's not going to work out for you. So here's another interesting story here that Jeff and I came across. Even though Jeff's not here, we still work on stories or try to figure out like what's going to be interesting, what's going to look like something, right? Let's check this out here. Let's throw it up on screen. And let me share it there. So let's get it a little bit bigger. So Ripple and Coinbase lead the line as crypto industry steps up lobbying in Washington for better regulation. Now, if you looked at 2020 was a banner year for lobbying, right? I'm not sure what got accomplished, but as far as the money that was put into it, it was a really huge year and it dwarfed 2019 and 2018. And if you remember, Ripple used to have a point person, a couple people in an office and doing a lot of lobbying. But I'm not sure, lobbyists basically are meeting with Congress or lawmakers, legislatures, and kind of like pitching the story like, hey, here's why we need regulations. And the very first company out in front really was Ripple. So it says crypto companies in the US have stepped up their lobbying efforts as they seek to get the government on their side. And I'm not so sure it's about on their side. I think it's about trying to get some clear rules of the road. Like, hey, man, I'm going to drive this car down the road. I'm going to be cranking it up pretty fast. And I really want to make sure that I don't go over the lines, right? I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want the police coming after me. I think it's more about that. And Ripple and Coinbase are amongst the companies doing the most with lobbying budgets. Both firms, they increased significantly. And really, quite honestly, Coinbase should be up in theirs because they have just had this IPO. And now they got an influx of money, plus they just did a big raise. So they should be pumping that budget up pretty solid right there. And it says crypto companies in the U.S. want better laws. How about better laws? How about just laws in general? They're not willing to sit around hoping for the best. Yeah, that's working out so well for Library and Ripple at the moment. It says a new report revealed that crypto firms have increased their lobbying effort in Washington significantly. And Bitcoin's become more mainstream as far as an asset class, but there are some issues that hinder the progress. And one of them is the spike of the BTC-related ransomware attacks. And, I don't want to be Mr. Conspiracy hat. I'm not putting the tinfoil hat on or anything, but don't you find it just a little bit odd, out of nowhere, right? They kind of said, like, we believe that the grid is in trouble. We believe that this is in trouble. There's potential things. They start floating the idea. And the next thing, all these ransomware attacks. But are they ransoms for any other crypto? No. Are they ransoms for Bitcoin? Yeah. Funny, right? And then weirdly enough, the FBI has the key. So it's almost as if the people that are the mouthpiece don't really understand what happened behind the scenes, because you don't just say they had the key. How did they have the key in the possession of their whole time? So now what we're starting to see is a narrative unfolding where Bitcoin bad, very bad. You see, it's used for illicit purposes. And what's the perfect vehicle for this? Shaking down companies, right? Shaking them down. We're going to tear your network apart, or we're going to take you offline, or we're going to take something that's going to prevent you from being able to function as an organization unless you pay us in what? Not fiat. Weird how they don't want to get paid in fiat, right? And there's something else we'll get into in a little bit here, but it's weird how this is unfolding. Just saying, it's a hell of a coincidence. I don't know what you guys think, but it's a really weird. Let's see this one. So so Noah Star says, hey, do you think Coinbase is afraid of Elizabeth Warren? Laugh emojis. Like I said before, I don't take anybody serious that appropriates another race to further their career. Sorry, I stopped listening at that. It's not happening for me. It's just not happening at all. So yeah, I'm looking through some of the comments right here as we go. So to move the process along, it ensures a favorable and broader ecosystem. A number of crypto companies are spending big bucks to lure the higher ups. A report by The Hill revealed that Ripple, Coinbase, and Jack Dorsey's Square, and you guys know Square has been heavily all in. Again, they've been not only putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, 1%, but they've also been allowing you to purchase cryptocurrency. So you can understand why, as you're growing your business segment, of course you want to be able to have some clear regulations. Nobody wants to be smacked in the face and throat punched while you're trying to build an organization and build a business. So I see exactly what is happening. So you had Kristen Smith, the executive director of the Blockchain Association, which Jeff and I have criticized heavily here because I just don't see them out in front. That you're the Blockchain Association. You have notably and arguably one of the top dogs. It was number 3 in the crypto space. Ripple being persecuted, hammered. You have the investment and all the investors that are not being protected by said agency. So she weighed in and said the explosive growth of the crypto industry must be matched by nimble, responsive, pro-growth laws and regulations, which I wholeheartedly agree, which do not get achieved without sustained engagement with members of Congress, regulatory agencies, and members of the administration. And then, so obviously it says Ripple spends big on lobbying amid SEC lawsuit. Any crypto firm in the US stands to gain big if regulators implement enabling policies. However, for some benefit will be bigger than for others. And one of the biggest beneficiaries would be Ripple. I disagree with that statement. One of the biggest beneficiaries would be cryptocurrency in general, be the digital asset space, the blockchain space. Yeah, Ripple's the name that's being that's on the lawsuit, but let's get it straight. Ripple has a lot to do. This case has a lot to do with the reverberations and the ripples, if you will, what's going to happen to the entire scenery. So last year, SEC sued Ripple for a mega securities violation. Hill revealed in the first quarter of this year, firm spent $260,000 on lobbying. This was up $100,000 from the same period last year. Proof of this will be its impact in the case. In February, Ripple hired a Washington lobbying firm run by Michael Conway, the former Texas representative for Representative Texas. I just say Texas twice. I believe I did. Coinbase also teamed up in April with finance giant Fidelity and crypto VC firm Paradigm to create a new lobbying group known as the Crypto Council for Innovation. Now, I surely hope that these, the Blockchain Association, this brand new Crypto Council for Innovation, throws in and says, hey, you know, where is the outspokenness standing up for Ripple here? Where is, you know, you have this association. What is your goal? Is it like the SEC, we're going to protect investors and then like quietly over here start suing people? If you're trying to promote not only cryptocurrencies, but blockchain or the adoption of said blockchain and cryptocurrencies, wouldn't you be vocal about it? Meanwhile, they've been like, don't say a thing. They're out there jibber jabbering about, yes, we need clear regulations and we believe that this should happen. And oh my gosh, what else should we do? But meanwhile, you got one of the probably largest court cases in history in the tech world that's probably going to have some ramifications that will be far reaching. And meanwhile, there's nothing, completely nothing. Then you got Fred Ursam, the co-founder of Paradigm. He said, we're focused on separating fact from perception in the crypto space. Yeah, that's working out well. Through government and more broadly educational resources, which is critical to helping regulators understand the crypto's ability to spur economic growth. That's a lot of words, but if I were selling this to Congress, I would be very simple and say, look, this has the opportunity to change lives. It's going to be the greatest wealth transfer in the history of the world, right? But it's going to allow people to invest the same way Robinhood helped, you know, the younger set, right, come into, because it was easy. No one really wants to go out there and learn about trading. You want to just open up your phone, you flip it open, click, 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 and you're buying stuff. And now that it's become a little bit easier buying crypto, you can see the ages of people are starting to spread. You've got teenagers getting into crypto. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of teenagers down there have done very well, you know, with trading in crypto all the way up. And I saw all ages down there when I was at Bitcoin 2021. So it's a grab bag to see exactly what's going to happen. I mean, he also added that one of their core principles is to work closely with policymakers to correct misinformation about cryptocurrency and discuss common ground. Well, the funny thing about it is, in all this conversation that we hear, they keep going on about, we want to do this, we want to do that. Meanwhile, you've got a bill just sitting on a desk somewhere, gathering dust, introduced 3 times the token taxonomy, which cleans up a lot of this stuff. It's almost as if they don't know that bill exists. And if they do, why wouldn't you be lobbying Congress to say, hey, let's get together, let's review this bill. Let's talk about what it will create. Let's talk about the different, what it will do, not only for the US, but beyond the US as well. Because if the US does well, obviously the potential to do well everywhere else. And the rest of the world has already figured it out. The US is the last person, if you want, a last country, I should say, to figure it out. They're just completely lost, misguided, and missing. Why? Because they're just bickering about ridiculous stuff. So I kind of feel like this story is right in line with that. Jeff and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. Let's see this right. Oh gosh, did it just hit me with the paywall? It did. Let me hang on a second. Let me see if I can. What I might be able to do is actually sometimes if you Google the story, the actual headline, you might be able to get it if you get it off the web. That's the other potential thing. Let's see if this works. And it looks like it did. We'll see. We'll try it out here. So this one here, I want to get your thoughts on this one because this one's pretty interesting. We have here a pipeline. Oh, I don't want to subscribe now, but thank you. Pipeline investigation upends the idea that Bitcoin is untraceable. The FBI's recovery of Bitcoins paid in the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack showed cryptocurrencies are not as hard to track as some may seem. Wait a minute, what? And then it goes on to say, now this is the New York Times. I'm not sure what the Costco thing is there, but it says when Bitcoin burst onto the scene in 2009, fans heralded the cryptocurrency as a secure, decentralized, and anonymous way to conduct transactions. Criminals often operating in hidden reaches of the internet. They don't even wait one paragraph before they get into it. We couldn't have gone 2 or 3 in there, talked about all the benefits of what cryptocurrency, or at least the first mover advantage. No, right into it. Here's the narrative. They're laying it out for us. Criminals often operating in hidden reaches of the internet, in some dark, smoky room, to Bitcoin do illicit business without revealing their names or the locations. The digital currency quickly became as popular with drug dealers and tax evaders as it was with contrarian libertarians. So what are they doing here in one sentence? Well, they're disparaging Bitcoin. They are disparaging, the whole idea that there's no good that can come from using it because it's all used for bad, illicit purposes. And what are they doing? Oh, they're going into the libertarians, right? Because they're going to nail them any chance they get because they're for freedom. And again, decentralization, all equal to freedom. This week, the revelation that the federal officials had recovered most of the Bitcoin ransom paid in the recent Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack exposed the fundamental misconception about cryptocurrencies. They're not as hard to track as criminals think. This article is just absolute. Does anybody do any research anymore? Does anybody understand what the blockchain is? First of all, if you have the address, so what? Now, we happen to know when whales move because we sort of know what whales they belong to. We know Jeb McCaleb, for instance. We know what his wallet address is. We do not know what other wallet address or an address that moves to, but they're making it seem like this. Maybe it's not so bad after all. Well, I don't know. It's like, geez, what do you think? It's like it paid the hackers in ransomware attacks, shut down the company's computer systems, prompting, because, you're smart enough to shut down their entire system, right? Find a way in, shut it all down, orchestrate the fact that you're going to have a ransomware. And then what are you going to do? You're going to do something really incredibly stupid. I'm sorry. I know bank robbers have done silly things in the past, but this is just a little bit too much here. It says, for the growing community of cryptocurrency enthusiasts and investors, the fact that federal investigators had tracked the ransom as it moved through at least 23 different electronic accounts belonging to the dark side of the hacking collective before accessing the account showed law enforcement was growing. Now, the other thing that they don't get into here, I don't think they do, they talk about blockchain, blah, 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 blah. It's digital breadcrumbs, said Catherine Hahn, a former federal prosecutor. Yeah, well, you can track it all you want, but that doesn't necessarily mean. So are you telling me that they didn't put it on a cold storage wallet somewhere? Because where are you going to track that to? Yeah, you could track the IP address perhaps, but I don't know. This just to me sounds a little bit on the ridiculous side. I mean, quite honestly, I just don't even know where to go to that. So head over to the comments here. I want to see what's going on in this chat. What's going on in the chat? Oh, yeah, let's talk about this. Thank you, XRP Speedboat. Public service announcement. Today is the last day before you have to do it, right? Today's June 10th, but June 11th, midnight. I'm not even sure when that hits. I don't know if it's UK time, but today was the last day to claim your Spark token. And we've been warning you all along. So Jeff and I were talking today. We're like, what's the over under on somebody asking a question either on Twitter or maybe in the stream that says, hey, when can I still claim my Spark token? It's possible, I mean, we've had only 6 months now, but and that's going to break my heart too. If somebody comes in and says, oh yeah, I had like 10,000 XRP and I didn't claim it. Well, I don't know what we do in that regard, but XRP Speedball, thank you very much for that. I'm looking at some fun things in here. What I could talk about? Let's see. So Rob McDermott says when Biden wraps his Bitcoin discussion, he should move into the quantum computer. He's equally qualified. So there you go. We get all kinds of thoughts here. That's a good one. Here we go. Let's see. I'll put this one on here. The president of Iran is talking about crypto clarity. Russia and others are now actively burying SWIFT. Yeah, that's a really Buford T. Justice from Smoking the Bandit movies, man. Nice. Jackie Gleason. Actually, there's a theater down here on South Beach. It was called the Jackie Gleason for many years. I still call it the Jackie Gleason, even though they renamed it. But it's a cool theater. Actually, I saw Khalid there twice, or at least once I saw him there. And I know New Order played there for about, they did like a week straight there, but I still call it the Jackie Gleason. A lot of people around here do. Anyway, a little side, you got me off on a little side tangent there, which might happen sometimes. The deadline, it happens. You got to make sure you hit the deadline. And they're giving it away for free. So we're going to find out soon enough. When is it launching? June and or July. So that's when they're going to actually physically launch. And we'll find out more as the time goes by here. Let me see what else we have here. There's some other interesting things here. Hopefully I can pop these puppies up here. But I want to talk a little bit about El Salvador, because this right here is an interesting take. So you're thinking about Bitcoin, huh? Interesting, right? So El Salvador's decision to make Bitcoin legal tender could shake up U.S. tax corporations, huh? El Salvador's decision to make Bitcoin legal tender could change how the IRS taxes people and how corporations use Bitcoin. And there you go. Laser eyes. Says El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele. On Tuesday, obviously, we know he was the first country to actually adopt it. We talked about this last week. They were thinking about it. It actually passed in a pretty solid vote. It was very well weighted towards pro. And per CNBC, the change means that prices can now be shown in Bitcoin. Tax contributions can be paid with the digital currency, and exchanges in Bitcoin will not be subject to capital gains tax. Now, it's interesting because they made this a currency and legal tender, it no longer falls under cryptocurrency rules. It falls under legal tender, right? So, and much the same way of fiat. So that's what I like about this take on this. It's an interesting way to look at it. It said there could be huge implications for the U.S., as explained by Forbes' Avik Roy. First of all, taxation. Today, the IRS classifies Bitcoin as property. But if you use it to transact, like let's say buy a Starbucks coffee, and the price of the Bitcoin's changed since you first acquired it, well, that's a taxable event. But as legal tender, Bitcoin can be used in commerce without being taxed, otherwise known as much less friction. Then you've got corporate balance sheets. You see people like Michael Saylor. You have Square. There's a whole bunch of companies that have been putting in, right? Current accounting rules are unfavorable to crypto assets. If the price rises, you're unable to mark it up as an unrealized gain. If the price falls, then you have to write it down. So from a corporate accounting perspective, it's pretty much all downside. However, if Bitcoin's considered a foreign currency, why? Because El Salvador has recognized it. Because it's legal tender, corporations can hold it on the balance sheet under more favorable accounting guidelines. Now, when this happened, I would probably imagine a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, El Salvador, that's great, whippity-doo. But they started and launched a lot of things. They clicked the button and they got the ball rolling. And it's good. There's some other stories we're going to get into, but they really jarred some people, right? And when you make this kind of move, you're going to have the arrows coming at you. You've got a lot of incoming, and a lot of it, as much of it from us, is going to be pro. There's going to be a lot of people coming after him. They're not so happy, right? They're not so happy. So let's jump back into this puppy. And then it talks about the future of Bitcoin with the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, ideally transacts with all of the currencies of foreign nations as an official currency for El Salvador. It may become harder for the US to ban Bitcoin. And there was at that hearing that we talked about briefly, there was the hearing, we showed the Elizabeth Warren clips from yesterday. There was a professor and he was like, oh, we got to convince the world and every nation to ban Bitcoin. It was so ridiculous and so pathetic that I didn't even want to play it. I'm like, this is just preposterous. I'm like, here we are. I mean, Ray Dalio even flipped over and said, hey, cryptocurrency, even Bitcoin makes sense. I didn't have all the information. And he was a big enough man to say, you know what? I needed to get more info on it and do a little bit more digging to figure out about cryptocurrency in general. And it's okay. You know, look, you make a mistake, you go like, hey, man, I made a mistake. I came up. Meanwhile, this professor's like, we got to ban it. We got to have every company ban Bitcoin. I'm like, no, you're not going to ban Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. It says El Salvador itself only has a GDP of 27 billion, and that's smaller than any U.S. state. Even one of our smaller states, let's say Rhode Island, where John Deaton hails from. And then it's yet to be seen how the U.S. government will respond. But with El Salvador's big crypto move, the questions are in play. So that's pretty interesting because if you think about it, did you realize all that stuff was going to be put in motion? That would cause this spinning wheel to start moving down the tracks, and how that might affect cryptocurrency taxes and the whole thing. So I'd mentioned this a little bit. I toyed a little bit about this, so I want to show this because okay, I'm starting to fuzz out a little bit here. Let's see what happens here. Let's go. And then we have this right here. So the International Monetary Fund, better known as the IMF, sees legal economic issues with El Salvador's Bitcoin move. Uh-oh. Somebody's upset. What did we say? What were we going to say? Incoming, a lot of people were not going to be happy about the move, right? Well, I think it has a lot to do with what we were just talking about. Let's jump into this a little bit. International Monetary Fund said on Thursday it has economic and legal concerns regarding the move by El Salvador to make Bitcoin a parallel legal tender, further clouding the outlook for an IMF-backed program and widening spreads in the country's bonds. El Salvador has become the first nation in the world to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, touting it. President touted it for its use and a potential to help Salvadorians living abroad to send remittances back home. So there you go. That's one use case, right? And we also know a better use case for that, which is better known as XRP. You can do it and Spend the Bits, which is a fantastic app. You can use Spend the Bits to basically send Bitcoin in 3-4 seconds because you're sending it on the XRP ledger. So I imagine that will probably get pretty popular. And also the fees too. We're also following develops closely, and we'll continue to consult with the authorities. Foreign investors concerned about the future of the IMF DLC, key for the Central American country, have demanded increasingly higher premiums to hold on Salvadorian debt. So let's review what happened here. El Salvador came up with something revolutionary, trying to spark their economy, right? Hooking up the Volcano Power, right? Trying to stimulate their economy, and it has very, very underutilized power plants. So what are they doing? They're inviting the world. Come on down to El Salvador. You know, you can go ahead and do all the Bitcoin mining you want. Well, the IMF's not happy about that because apparently the debt is becoming an issue. The spread on the JP Morgan EMBI Global Diversified Index over safe haven U.S. Treasuries jumped. Here we go. Let's see. Let's just pass that. That's an ad. We see the Bitcoin headlines out of El Salvador as noise that could complicate discussions with the IMF, said Citi's Donato Guarino. Now you see who's mad here. There's Citi's. That's Citibank right there. You've got other investors in the debt. You got the IMF. It said reducing the bank's already underweight exposure to the country even further. Rice said the fund will later on Thursday meet with Bukele to discuss Bitcoin law. El Salvador is in discussions with the IMF seeking a near $1 billion program. So what are the odds that that's going to probably help them miss the mark on that? You know, what is the possibility there? It said crypto is a very marginal story to the Salvadorian investment thesis, said Patrick Estrella, research head at the EMSO Asset Management in New York. Whether El Salvador is going to be attractive for investors or not, it's going to depend on Bukele's ability to use his unquestionable political capital to bring large consolidated fiscal deficit into control. El Salvador's law means Bitcoin will have an equal footing with the dollar, which became its official currency 20 years ago. The law itself does not assuage doubts about the feasibility of the project, nor does it add any confidence in the development will put the IMF program back on track, said Nathalie Marshik, head of EM. So basically, they're coming after them. They're really worried about the debt. They're worried about the confluence, the effect, how it might affect the. Hang on a second. I've got to. Let me just give me 1 second here. Let me figure something out here. Something is not right on the computer. There we go. Okay. So sorry about that. I had to. I was losing computer power, and I was like, "Why is my computer battery dying here?" I think we're all set up now. So yeah, I think we're 100% set up. Want to run to the comments here? We got the LOLs. We got the list of that. What else we have here? Throw this up. It's a good start to level. Funky Fresh 707 says good start to leveling the playing field, but Bitcoin has too much toxic maximalism and tribalism. So more cryptos need to be adopted to further break the need to rely on government currency or one sole crypto. Yeah, okay, that's true, but I don't know that you really want to get caught up. I don't really get caught up in what the name brand is, because I like the fact that we're moving towards we're really moving towards a good direction when you have a country adopting Bitcoin. Okay, that's as a currency. Yeah, there's a lot of toxic maximalism in there as well, but so what? I mean, regardless of that, had it not been for Bitcoin, the old saying is never forget the man who dug the well, right? Everybody drinks the water, but forgot who actually made it possible. In this case, I look at it like this: Bitcoin made it possible. That's how I came to it. And if you want to meet an ex maxi, if you want to look at somebody who, used to be a maxi, right there. I used to be one because I bought into all the hype. I bought into the, all the other, the S coins and all that kind of stuff. And, I first went to XLM because I said, oh, XLM is truly decentralized, because that's what the maxis told me. And then they later told me it was no good. But then I started doing research, started looking at stuff, saying, wait a minute, it's completely wrong. So, it's kind of like smokers. You ever know an ex-smoker? Like the worst when somebody lights up a cigarette or a cigar. The ex-smokers are the worst people. They're so offended by it, So it's kind of like, in one sense, you can be. In another sense, I'm not. I embrace it all, because I want all boats to rise. I want the entire crypto world, and you go like, well, what about the meme coins, Chip? Yeah, let's have them all do well, because I'm not picking the favorites. You know why? Because that's your job. Your job, and I'm talking about everybody in the world, in the globe right now, it's your job to pick the winners and losers. Then that's what's going to happen. You're going to have general attrition. Brad Garlinghouse famously said, 99% of them will fail. Well, I don't know what that means. If it goes up, if there ends up becoming 50,000, there ends up becoming 100,000 cryptos. Yeah, I mean, we could still be left with 1,000 of them or 500 of them. I don't know that they all go away, but I do think that they're going to morph and switch over time, and I think that's part of it. They're not going to go away overnight. It's going to take a very small sort of a trickle off effect. And look, nobody was talking about NFTs in a big way, not the way they are right now, but nobody was really going off on NFTs, like saying, oh, we got to all be. And then today we had a massive sale, which I'll see if I can get into here, but I want to show this tweet right here, because let me throw this up here. This was a really small tweet that said a lot in a very small amount. I'll throw this full screen. John Tooled. This financially engineered market is brought to you by the Federal Reserve, helping the rich and elites put serfs out of homes since 1913. I love that. I just thought that was just so fantastic. What a great read. There's something when we talk about in a small little one sentence, One sentence says so much. Financially engineered market is brought to you by the Federal Reserve, helping the rich and elites put serfs, that's us, out of our homes since 1913, when the Federal Reserve came into existence. And if you don't know how that happened, that in itself is an amazing story. And you can put your tinfoil hats on all you want, but I have to tell you, that is some good reading right there. Jekyll Island is the first place I would point you to take a look at. That's one of the great books, but there's also a lot of mystery surrounding some key people who were against the Federal Reserve being founded, who happened to be booked on a ship leaving from the UK, heading over to America by the name of the Titanic. And sadly, those three voices were lost. And all of a sudden, in December, in the middle of the night, yeah, they went ahead and pushed it through. So there's all kinds of intrigue throughout history to find out how these things sort of come to be. And it's just incredible, man. It's really just insanely incredible. So let me go ahead and throw this up here. Let's take a look. You can see my screen's getting a little wonky. I can feel it going. Let's see. Yeah, for some reason I sort of freeze up. I'll just turn myself off and we'll go right into we'll keep going into the story. So this was a big one too. I saw Michael Arrington basically tweet this one out today. Pantera Capital and Arrington XRP Capital lead a $5.8 million Unbound Finance raise. Unbound Capital aims to become the first decentralized cross-chain stablecoin private investment round as participation from at least 14 venture funds and over a dozen angel investors from across the blockchain industry. Cryptocurrency managers Pantera Capital and Arrington have co-led at least a 5.8 million private investment for Unbound Finance. It's an up-and-coming DeFi treasury protocol for pool tokens. The funds will be used to develop further Unbound's finance cross-chain stablecoin platform, including the development of native bridges for instant transfers between its native UNB stablecoin and other synthetic assets, the company announced Wednesday. Unbound Finance operates a so-called liquidation-free collateralization platform, which is, as the name suggests, it allows users to obtain interest-free loans against collateralized tokens. So it's a little bit different than what we see today, where it's easy to get a loan against your collateral, but your interest rate's usually pretty high or it's marginal anyway. And they're doing something a little bit different. And the automated market makers are DeFi's 0-to-1 innovation, and we're building out the aggregator layer to generate and enable greater yields and capital efficiency for our users. Also, some serious backers. We talked about Pantera and Arrington's XRP Capital, but also received direct funding from a bunch of other people, which I'm not going to name, but I will highlight them. There you go. So a lot of different people in there. But again, really great for the space. Why? Because it just keeps blowing up. It keeps going to new places. And as we move into these new places, it's great for the entire space. I mean, all of us. I mean, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I was looking at something and reading something. Can't do two things at one time, as I'm often reminded by my wife. But one of the things we have to realize is that as we see mass adoption, we don't even realize it. We just saw this massive raise, 5.8 million, 4 million here, 6 million here. And then we're seeing new funds getting set up. We're seeing Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z. They're coming in with the big money, and it's like, if you think about all the money that they have and, all together, it turns into a massive adoption. But you got to lay the groundwork first. If you don't lay the groundwork, what is the name of this? Anyway, I'm going to try to put this up on my screen. I don't know if this will play, but I want to see this here. Let me see if I can go ahead and play this. Let me share this. But I want to get into this too, because this kind of ties in to what we were just looking at in a roundabout way. Let me go in here. And okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. So you guys have probably seen this clip before, but I want to put this on here because of the quote that happens. This was This was Ross Leckow. He's from the IMF. Of course, we talked about the International Monetary Fund. And let's listen to what he has to say here. Let's see if we can turn the volume up. Of course, you saw this one. This was a great one where Garlinghouse, let's see, let's turn this up.
Try.
Do you see,
There we go.
Try.
do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency. Try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto?
Did you hear that? Some country would have to use, and yeah, I've frozen up a little bit here. So there you go. If only Jeff was here to sort of let me pop out and pop back in. I don't even know if I'm
If only.
here. It's here. Jeff gonna pop out, but what I wanted to show
What
here.
timing.
There you go. Jeff is here, guys.
What
Just
is
in
going
time.
on?
What's going on? So we were playing this clip, Jeff, about famously when Garlinghouse was on there and someone said, you ever see the IMF holding cryptocurrency? He said, for that to happen, some country would have to use crypto asset as a currency. Well, that's happened, and the name is El Salvador. Thoughts?
That's right. I like it. I like it. I think it's great. Except they're trying to gang up on El Salvador and
Yeah,
make
we
all
played
sorts
those.
of other claims, right?
We got into that as well, too, because you know they're coming after them, man. They're coming after them in a big way. They can't just let it sit. They have to know. Now they're talking about, oh, we're worried about it, and cities worried about it, and all the banks are worried about it, because now they're and we also covered the reason why taxes, if you have it as legal tender, well, it's taxed differently and it's looked at differently. So that's going to be a big
man.
thing.
But what's up with the IMF coming out against El Salvador and saying that the fact that they may, they want Bitcoin to be legal tender isn't legal from the IMF perspective, because IMF's trying to give them handouts. The one thing that these organizations like Chip, I think, is at the end of the day, they want full reliance. They want to be, fully engaged in these countries, and they want to keep them poor, because the IMF would have no other reason for being if these countries were wealthy.
Exactly right. And it's all of a sudden, and not only that, but you would want a small country who is looking for $1 billion to sort of re-stimulate their economy, opens it up, but see, they're against the narrative, Jeff. We have power plants that are underutilized. They're not even running at half capacity. What are we going to do, right? And this is probably another thing I should throw up here. Let me throw this one up here, because this kind of goes wrong with that. So if you kind of come along, your narrative isn't quite what they want to hear, right? So let's put this up here. And this is a tweet thread by none other than Nayib Bukele. You guys see this right here? He says, our engineers just informed me that they dug a new well that will provide approximately 95 megawatts of 100% clean, zero emissions, geothermal energy from our volcanoes.
Sweet. That volcano power again. God, I love volcano power.
This. Sounds like static. Look at that puppy. Pure volcano power, Jeff.
Think about all that Bitcoin you'll be mining without volcano power.
That's pure volcano power.
Man, I like it. I like it.
It's good
That's
stuff, right?
ingenuity. That's ingenuity. That's what it takes. One of the things that we've seen in this space is so much ingenuity. Think about recreating the financial environment on a global scale, remaking it, rebuilding it, making it more modern, making it more accessible, right? And then there's the powers that be that are going to keep pushing these false narratives, just like they did with the pipeline and the Bitcoin with the pipeline. At my meeting tonight, man, we had a great speaker, woman running for Congress. I can't say exactly who or where. It's down here, but she'll be running against someone that, we need to replace. But, we talked about this, before I brought her up, I was referencing and kind of enlightening people on what's going on. And man, we have to be so careful about this false narrative that is being passed along in reference to the digital asset space and, cryptocurrency. And they really want to try to beat up on as much as possible. But more wealth has been created in areas that you would least expect it. And more people have been engaged. And this is one of the things that we brought up with us this evening, that, more people have been able to create wealth in some of the, it's just really amazing. It really is. People getting involved in the United States, young kids, inner city, from, all walks of life, getting involved in the cryptocurrency space and learning finance for the very first time. And then the powers that be want to silence that because they don't like when people can do for themselves. And that's really unfortunate.
Joe, you ever see that movie Joe versus the Volcano?
Oh, it's awesome.
It's a great movie. My favorite scene that I probably watched on rerun is like, I know he can get the job, but can he do the job? I know he can get the job, but can he do the job? He's on the phone. You're like, oh, that's your mundane sort of world. And I wanted to throw this up, Jeff, because again, we talk about the mass adoption. We talk about the investments that are happening out there. And then look at this. Here we go. Hardware wallet maker Ledger, our famous Ledger, gets $380 million in Series C funding. That's a pretty nice raise for a Series C. And it's going to go towards furthering innovation of its hardware products. So I have to imagine their hardware products are going to probably just evolve and get better, maybe bigger. Maybe they'll go to a screen like a lot of the other ones. But, they did do one iteration where they changed it to look more like that. But the funding round also garnered support from Cathay Innovation, Draper Associates, Tim Draper, as you know, DCG, that's the parent company of not only CoinDesk, but a bunch of other things. That's Barry Silbert. And the Series C raise places Ledger with an implied valuation of $1.5 billion, marking the company's rapid and accelerated growth. What do you think about that?
I like it. I like rapid growth. I like the accelerated growth.
I like slow growth, but I like slow, steady growth. Like cryptocurrency. We're 11 years into this project.
Like XRP.
It's kind of like like XRP. Yeah, slow growth, right? I mean, it's getting
slow
there.
And steady wins the race.
Slow and steady and wins the race. Yeah, as they say. So I was talking about a little about the IMF, but this is a fun story too because there would probably be a time where maybe we might have laughed at a story like this. But I think those days are over. I think the reason is, let me put this up here, Jeff. Let's see what this. What will happen to Shiba Inu coin by 2025? There's some price predictions for Shiba Inu as it prepares to face off with Dogecoin.
Nice. Is it a penny?
Not even a penny yet. But what they're saying is it's billed as the Dogecoin killer. Now, can you imagine like 6 months ago, somebody talking about a Dogecoin killer? You'd be like, what? No.
Well, yeah. Well, why try to kill off the Doge?
Yeah, that's doing a pretty good job.
Why are they even competing with one another?
And it's like, so here's what they're saying. It says it's not gone away despite a recent dip, but will Sheepcoin ever reach the $1 mark? What issues does it face? Well, it still faces some obstacles. For example, it's not gaining much attention on social media from speculators. Well, that's a problem, according to FX Street. But if the coin starts to drop, it may lose even more support.
Yeah.
CEO of Crypto Magazine Block Journal told the Inverse that Sheepcoin only rises because of the community. So investors should keep that in mind before investing.
Like the Doge. But however, what they're leaving out here is that the Sheep is getting ready to launch a DEX.
That's right.
So, and then the Shiba coin is going to be the primary asset of the DEX. So that's interesting. I don't know when, but it's going to come together. We'll see if it succeeds, but there's a distinction between the Doge and the Shiba. You got the Shiba, looking to develop more in the space, and the Doge is the Doge.
Yeah, and,
Right.
well, that's kind of right. I mean, look, when you start from ground zero, you can kind of like put out a game plan. You can
See?
try some stuff.
See?
Dogecoin.
John was talking about the Doge.
You can talk about the Doge, but if you think about it, Jeff, I mean, yeah, okay, they got a couple zeros to mess with here. But what I like about it is, like you said, they've got the decentralized exchange coming up, right? They
Yep.
potentially could create some solid use case, and who knows how they're going to use that native token and what they might build. And that's why you can never really count any project out these days. I mean, Dogecoin was just trucking along until, a project like Flare came along and all of a sudden said, hey, we
Maybe it
got a
can turn
use
into
case for
something.
you. You can participate. You think about that. Even Litecoin, for heaven's sakes, right? Litecoin, and who knows what Shiba Inu is going to do. Jeff, what are your thoughts on Shiba?
You know what? I think it's interesting. It's a meme coin. I bought a little bit of it because why not? You just you get a little bit, and if it blows up like the Doge did, why not throw a little bit at it? But I was more excited about Shiba when they announced the DEX. As soon as they announced the DEX, I got excited about it. I said, now they're creating a platform. I want to see them launch the DEX. I want to see it gain some momentum. But when it gains some momentum, I do believe that you'll see some movement with it, only because it becomes utility. Whereas Doge is still, marginally, it's increasing mainly because of the hype, the speculative nature, the community behind it. And there's a massive Doge community, just like some of the others. And the Doge community, as we know, they've actually donated a little, quite a bit. But someone on here is saying, if you burn 75% of Shiba, maybe it's a player. Maybe it's actually going somewhere. I think that's Buford over here, Buford T. Was saying burn it. That's right. But I was thinking about that too. What is there, like 500 billion, 500 million? I don't know what the number is.
Well,
Seems
Doge
like there's quite a few.
Well, the thing
Doge
about
is
Doge is
forever.
Doge is forever. Doge is like they're Doge. It's the same as the Federal Reserve. I mean, it was that was Warren Davidson that said they're Doge in the
Perfect.
Federal Reserve. I mean, they're just like it's like, hey, let's find a model that's failing and just can print forever. I know. How
That's
about
it.
the Federal Reserve? I think that might be a good start,
Doge.
Jeff.
Like Tony Fist just showed up a little bit late. He wants to know if we can start from the beginning. So if you start from the beginning, that means I gotta check out.
If you rewind it and then Jeff disappears. So there you go. If you watch in reverse, Jeff disappears and then you get me. I don't know, something weird to happen. So yeah, I had to do some solo stuff because Jeff was on special assignment tonight, for the
Darcy
SEC.
said, let's do another hour because I was 40 minutes late.
We have enough. We have enough for it. I can tell you that. But no, we're not going to probably do another hour. Nah. 40 minutes late. That happens. You're like, he comes in like, where's you come in, you go, he goes, where's Jeff?
Yeah, where's Darcy?
Darcy. And how about this thing? There's so many good stories, Jeff. This one here kind of got me though. I gotta say that every once in a while something rewind it.
I already pressed the like button. I ain't pressing more.
All right, that's fine. I mean, like,
That's how it goes. See?
There's only so much you can do. But look at this, Jeff. This one.
All right. Bring it up.
I gotta tell you, I don't get speechless very often. Speechless.
All right.
Look at this.
Let's see.
An NFT of a CryptoPunk digital artwork was sold for 11.8 million, according to a tweet by the auction house Sotheby's.
Holy crap.
There it is.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it, dude. It's like Van Gogh. He's like turning in his grave. All these famous Dutch masters are turning in their grave. I mean, did you ever think back? You remember way back when you're a kid, like there's that weird pixel art, and you were like excited about it. This is it, Jeff. And it looks like he's wearing a mask. That's it.
That's awesome.
What it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what could sell for 11 million, just like that. If we could put it into NFT form, I'll show you. That's value. That's money right there.
That adds a lot of value, man, right there.
That's that'd be awesome. Who wouldn't?
It's solid, man. But there you go. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it. Where do I put that in my brain, Jeff?
11.8 million.
I mean, why not just and then they go on to tell all about what it is. But there it is.
It's amazing.
Like Can you imagine
don't
that's
get it.
flipped on the screen? Someone just shot, $11 million.
Was it real art and then they made it digital, or is it just
No, this is it,
someone
Jeff.
just slapped together some digital?
You want to know what's fun
stuff?
though? If you guys want, take one
Man,
of these. You get
it's
one of
all
those
more than
projectors. You
7.
blow it up on your wall, and you can take each one of these is one of those Post-it notes. Just put the Post-it notes up, and you can make the cool digital art on and you just like say,
Sweet.
hey, that's 11. That right there is 11.8 million, or you can paint it. But they had 2
Man.
other alien CryptoPunk NFTs that have sold for more than 7
It's
million each
impressive.
in previous sales. Holy
That's
cow,
right.
man!
That's right. Hey,
Holy
did you
cow,
already
Jeff.
talk about what BitTrue is doing? Did you bring that
No,
up?
I didn't bring that up. I saved that for you in case you would magically pop in. No, I didn't do that. Go
Man,
ahead, throw it up
that
there.
one's interesting.
I'll sit
I
up
don't
there.
have
We got
it.
a little bit of time.
I don't have it
We'll-
open. I got nothing open.
You don't have anything open? Let me pull it up here.
I
I'll
got
pull
the
it up.
video open.
Let me see.
The BitTrue.
Gotta pull it up. I thought I stuck it
See
in
what-
there.
see what
Oh, here it
everybody
is. I got
thinks
it. I got
about
it.
it.
Here we go. I got it.
Not-
Yeah. Yeah, this
had to
is
go look
actually
for it.
really interesting. I kind of
BitTrue has been pushing the limits. So each of the exchanges trying to find kind of the path of what's going to keep developing this space. And there's, they're all touching and kind of working within the DeFi. But check this out. This is interesting. So if you hold BTR, which is the BitTrue coin, and you stake it, so you can go and you can stake it. So what do they have? Their yield farming service. Now each BTR will be 1 vote. What's interesting about the vote, and I don't understand that you get to mine for the coin you're voting on with all that, but maybe that's part of the yield farming. However, each vote that you're able to cast in favor of adding another coin to the platform. That's interesting. I like that. You can determine our new coin listings. It's an interesting concept. No, they haven't done that. They haven't crowdsourced which assets to add to the platform. And if they delisted XRP, maybe that'd be a place to start. Let's relist XRP.
Look at right there. Is that fulfilling one of our earliest promises regarding the functionality of BitTrue coin BTR? You'll soon be able to use your BTR to vote. So they're actually creating, again, this is the one potential utility for it. But they said they would come up with something, and they've come out with this, and it's pretty interesting.
Awesome. And
yeah,
it's
it
unique.
really
I don't
is
think
awesome,
anyone
man.
else has done this yet, right? They're the first.
No, I don't think so. It's the first time I've heard about it.
Yeah.
It says so. And the cool thing is, like, how do you vote? Well, you stake it, right? So it's kind of interesting with Flare. You're going to be delegating a vote that you'll be able to, use rewards. So I wonder if that might have spurned a little bit of creativity there. It says you're DeFi mining the platform for 7 days. You'll be able to specify the coin you're supporting. Staking will not only count as a vote, but also permit you to earn healthy rewards in the form of the coin that you're voting for. A mining platform currently available on only on mobile devices. So you download it. So there you go. It's a really good way to get adoption for their app as well. So you have to download that on your mobile.
Yeah, and BTR is sitting at 15 cents right now. So
nice. There you go.
Yeah.
An opportunity right there.
Think about that.
Stake it, earn some rewards. Pretty cool, man.
Like
that was a good one, Jeff. That was a good one.
They're going somewhere. It's developing.
Right.
We used to talk a lot about BitTrue, and they keep adding. When you're pushing the limit like that, and figuring things out, you're being innovative. They're going to hit the right thing, and it's great.
Jeff, think about how
they
came to the space is like the first XRP really exchange, right? And they had all these XRP pairs, and it's like that's how they started. But look how they're starting. Look how they're coming along, and it's like then they come out with their own 2 tokens. They have the whatever I forget what's the BTR, and there's the other token they have, which is more like a finance type of a.
I think they got rid of it, didn't they?
Did they get rid of it?
I don't know.
I don't know if they still have it or not. But
I
anyway,
don't follow that.
but just following of course, Binance did that too. But again, Binance really largely their coin because it's being used. You have to use it to like on Pancake Swap or one of those to be able to use that for other coins. So it's kind of like the liquid right there that makes it work. The whole kit and caboodle there. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And this is the time where we tell people to like and subscribe. We're here 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday night. Tonight's Thursday night, so we won't be with you tomorrow night. Jeff will be back here Saturday morning at 8 a.m. early in the morning. So
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time during the week, but 8 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. So if you're in Europe, it's like midday for you. So you're not, it gives you a little bit of a break to join.
Perfect thing to do.
And if you're in Australia, you can still catch it at like 10:30 at night, 10:30 at night, depending where you are. But you can watch the morning show at night, which is where most of us, here in the U.S. watch it. So, and then it's really early morning.
How many people here haven't subscribed yet? Show of hands.
Show of hands. Come on. 1,
But
2.
if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you're sub to the channel. You know all that stuff. But if you hit that bell notifier, you might even get a notification.
You might.
Now and then. That's kind of cool.
You
Just
might,
one more
Jeff.
thing for the Google algorithms, the Google algorithmic concepts that they like to play around with what we do.
XRP Speedboat, thank you for that. He says, my one-armed fishing buddy says, those are going to be this big. That's funny, man.
Brilliant. Classic.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. That's some funny stuff, man. Enjoy your Friday evening, says Rob McDermott, an OG there. Thank you very much. Catherine McClellan says, hit that like button. I like that. Rue Sharukin says, I like the podcast. Very cool. Yeah, we do have a podcast too, which if you like the audio only. Ani says, thank you, Chip, Jeff, and Al. No, that's all. Sorry. It was like, Al. Who's Al? I don't know about this Al character.
Jeff and
1953, by the way, Jeff, random like comment was a good year. I guess it was. I wasn't around then, but I'm going to say yes.
It was a very fine year.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. One down from
Ryu isn't Ryu what is that? Dragon Ball Z. Isn't that from Dragon Ball Z, Ryu?
I don't know. Jeff, I don't know.
Come on.
You stumped me, Jeff. I don't know. I can't really say that I know that. I don't.
Where's my son when I can help out? He just looked at the door. I could have said, who is this Ryu?
I can't say that I know, but I do know this.
The usual, sir. Please.
I just had to play that.
Street Fighter, Ryu.
That's right, Street Fighter. Okay, that's right.
I recognize Ryu. That's right.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter was awesome. Street Fighter. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Man, Mortal Kombat was, in my estimation, was better than Street Fighter. I mastered Mortal Kombat, spent way too many quarters in the arcade.
Yeah, it almost sounded you said Street Fire. Like sounds like a cool game too. Not Street Fighter. Street Fire. Fire. All right. Well, that's all we know. Listen, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Had a great week. We're excited about next week. Probably a whole bunch of stuff's going to go down, but look,
positive.
Huddle strong. There's a lot of stuff going on. As always, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with me for the first part, hanging out with Jeff and I for the second part. We love you when you hang out to the end. That's all we know, right? You got anything else, Jeff?
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.